Hi, this is David Davis from ActualTech Media. I'm excited to be here at Maxta's corporate headquarters. I'm joined by Mr. Arjun Narang. He's a product manager for Maxta. How you doing, Arjun?
Good. How are you, David?
I'm great. So, we've been here, we've been learning about Maxta's hyperconvergent solution. We've been learning about application-defined specifically, which really makes Maxta unique in the hyperconvergence world. And I wanted to take a little bit more of a deep dive here and, find out, in detail. Let's say, I'm a virtualization admin. I've got a SQL server, and I'm interested in running it on, Maxta's hyperconvergent solution. Kind of tell me the pros and cons of how does ApplicationDefined help me?
Right. So kind of the key principle with ApplicationDefined is that you have that SQL database, and maybe you also have a VDI environment and an Exchange server all running on the same storage. So now, how do you kind of manage and optimize for each of those different applications when they all have different requirements? So that's where Maxta's sort of application-defined policies really come in and allow you to set things like how much protection you want, how many copies of data do you want. Even what we can talk about today a little bit is the page size, and how aligning the page size of the storage of Maxta storage with the application is going to help you to optimize the performance.
Okay. So let's take a VM here.
Yeah.
It's got a 4K, it's a SQL server with a 4K volume.
Right.
I'm putting it on some storage that's got a 32K page size, block size. Yeah. What's the good and bad here? What's going to happen?
So the problem here when you have this misalignment of your application's I/O page size with your storage block size is when that 4K I/O comes into the storage, it's going to have to, storage is going to allocate a 32K block, but it's going to have to take this 4K, read it, and rewrite it as a 32K block before writing it to the storage. So you're going to have a major performance hit there when you're having to do this sort of read, modify, write operation.
So it's inefficient. This is a bad design here, right?
Correct.
Okay. Let's look at another example here. Tell me about this one.
So this would be like maybe, for the database virtual disk of that SQL database, you've got, 32K I/O coming in from the VM, and maybe your storage default block size there is 4K. So now this is, a little bit better than what you get here with the misalignment, but you're still going to have a performance hit because your storage is trying to allocate 4K blocks. So you'll have to find a contiguous block, a contiguous space of 8 4K blocks to fit that 32K I/O coming from the application.
So again, we've got a misalignment here, an inefficiency, really.
Exactly.
So how can ApplicationDefined come in and help us to resolve these kind of inefficiencies?
So that's a good question. So what Maxta can do is kind of at the VM level, we can allow you to set policies for both the VM and the VMDK to align the I/O coming from the VM with the storage below it. So now you have this 4K VM, setting the I/O 4K virtual disk. You don't want to be writing 32, you don't want the storage below it to be 32K. So Maxta will allow you to basically issue, a 4K block underneath it. And same here on the 32K side, you'll have that 32K storage block alignment. Now, the key here is, compared to maybe some traditional infrastructures where you might, first of all, you might not have even been able to adjust the page size for a single storage pool. But they would have required, if they did allow that, they would have required you to configure different LUNs, map those LUNs to different hosts, and then remember when you're creating the VM, which LUN did I create for this VM? And if you even look at the SQL example we're talking about here, where one VMDK, one virtual disk is a 4K block size, another is 8K, another is 32K, how are you going to manage one VM with each of its virtual disks with different characteristics, right? So Maxta is basically going to create a single storage pool up here, all uniform, and then say that you can come in at the VM level and set those app-defined policies.
Okay, so that's one of the things that people love about hyperconvergence is this kind of big, like a C drive, if you will, just a big storage pool for all your virtual machines, which is great and handy, no more LUNs, like you said.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, it also is potentially and usually typically bad for the applications because you lose that application-defined configuration for performance that they really need. So application-defined hyperconvergence with Maxta allows really for the best of both worlds, if you will.
Exactly, yeah. You get the simplicity and you get the customizability too.
Very nice. Thanks so much for your time today, Arjun.
Thanks, David.
For more information, visit maxta.com and try it out.